Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Welcome back to another Disney Lorcana video. Today we're going to be talking about the first chapter. Want to take a look at the box price and talk about why I think it's going to 500 or all-time highs here in the very near future. In addition to that, I want to take a look at some promo cards and cards that I think you guys should avoid. For those of us who've been around for a while, we've been burned a time or two with some of these promos, and so I want to make you guys privy of that. I want to give you an example of one that I would absolutely avoid right now, and then I also want to talk about just some exciting things or some things I'm excited about here at the end of the video. I'll try and keep it quick. You guys know how that goes. So the first chapter booster box right now, the cheapest on the market for an English copy is $327 from a non-verified seller. You have one other non-verified seller at $335, and then the first verified is up at $348, and I believe we already have sales at that price. Yeah, $344. We already have sales today at that price. You can see just in the last year we have a low of $210, high of $499, and it's worth noting that we had this low sale price of $210 was not that long ago. Like, we were pretty much at the bottom just a few weeks ago. But what I thought was always reassuring at that number was there was always purchases on this product, right? Like, you can see here, like, obviously it slows down when it gets to $500 a box, but there is always volume here, guys. And that has been from the start of the first chapter until now. There is very rarely a day goes by that 3 to 4 boxes don't sell. And especially as it just continued to get lower and lower, you see that demand just continue to pick up because people really do love the set. Obviously, new people coming into the game. And so it was only a matter of time until it really started to get before the demand really started to outweigh the supply, and now we've really hit a pivotal point where we're seeing that, right? There's 250 total boxes on the market right now of the first chapter on TCG Player, but the majority of those are alternate listings. Thank you, Doug, for pointing this out on a video last week. But you'll see here like 11 boxes of Chinese, 6 boxes of Chinese, 17, 11, 4, 3, 27, 26, 79. And so this 250 number includes those alternate variants. And so your realistic count of first chapter boxes that are on the market is probably closer to like 100, right? And so then if you continue to have 4 to 5 sales every day, like if you can apply, just a small time horizon on it, you start to see where I'm getting at here. And so that's why I would be surprised if, assuming what we know is true, where Ravensburger did the last, they call it like the EQL or the lottery, where you had the chance to buy first chapter from them for MSRP, and in that event they said this will be the last chance you ever have to purchase this product, assuming it's out of print, right? And all of that holds true. We've seen this box hit 450 to 500 multiple times in the past. I have no reason to think that it's not going back there, and I would probably put a time frame of like March to June of Q1, Q2 of next year. I think that it's most likely that's where it's going to be, and it's not going to take a lot of sales to get there. And so I do think better times are ahead for the first chapter here in the short term. Now, I don't say that to get anyone to FOMO in. I think that if you're buying only because it's going to go up, you're probably going to get burned. I strongly advise against doing any sort of like FOMO plays, taking on leverage. Being forced to sell your collectibles is never where you want to be. And so I just, look, I think all the signs are pointing there. I don't make a lot of predictions like this, but I think ultimately the first chapter it's the total supply that's out there on the market is very, very low, and people are really starting to see Lorcana more as a collectible now than more so than in the past. And I think the better times are ahead for the first chapter. So if you're in the market for the first chapter, this is just a fair warning, right? I think that now, it is worth noting that we've seen like a 30 to 35% bump here just in the last couple weeks. I'm never the biggest fan of buying after a cycle like that happens, but this product was so undervalued that I think even at this point, I think the price is fine, and I think it's still undervalued, but that's also coming from someone who has a very long time horizon when it comes to this. My first chapter is stowed away. Nothing, no one's touching it. It's bubble wrapped. It's sealed. I took it out of the bubble wrap to show you guys on a video the other day. One of my cases of that video that I did over the weekend went right back in the bubble wrap, back in the safe. Mine's not going anywhere. But that's just, I have a very long time horizon for stuff like this. And so I don't, if I bought it at 325, I wouldn't care if it went to 300, right? But if you do, then it's definitely not the product for you. But I think really, really good times are ahead for the first chapter, and I think that's going to continue to roll down, right, to Rise of the Floodborn, Into the Inklings, Ursula's Return. Rise of the Floodborn, definitely my favorite purchase after the first chapter. I think boxes are still around like 130, guys. I think they're still sub MSRP. That set has the Cinderella Ballroom Sensation. It's the second ever set. It's only got character enchanteds. It doesn't have locations, songs, or items yet in the enchanted slot. It's a great set. I think it's tremendously undervalued. I absolutely love Rise of the Floodborn. But it's worth noting that I own everything I'm talking about, right? So shilling my own bags, pump and dump, whatever. I'm not dumping, but I am pumping. So anytime I'm shilling something I own, I do like to be completely transparent. But that could be said in every video. So first chapter, I think we are on the right track to see some massive sales here soon and a lot of price movement. Moving over to the promo side of things. So I've had a lot of people reach out to me here as of late asking about like whether it's maybe the Ana Icebreaker promo, the Cruise promos, the Iago promo from the D23 membership, and a few others that we're going to take a look at of like, hey, Mike, what do you think about these? And ultimately, you guys know that I love any promo, right? Any and all promos. It's by far what I have the most of in my collection in terms of like, I don't know. It's what I enjoy the most, right? The promos are where I get the most joy. And so I've got a ton of them. Now, a lot of them are very, very cheap, right? So even though I might have 500 Cinderella from the second organized play kit, they're like $1 a piece, if that, right? So that's not really moving the needle that much. But I do believe in acquiring a large quantity of all of these promos that I can. And so whenever we're looking at cards like the Ana Icebreaker, this is a perfect example of why whenever I talk about our fundamentals of older, mentor, scarce, or relevant, we really, really, really need to hold in on that older portion of promos, because we have seen that over time, these promos continue to hit the market at even an escalated rate after their initial launch, whether that's due to Ravensburger not wanting too much scarcity, the reason for the promo, maybe some got released early and it wasn't really ready yet, and so then more came out later. There's a lot of reasons for it, but the Ana is a great example of why we want to be patient when it comes to these promos. When this card was first released, we had a sale on 5/28. So just a couple months ago at $56. We then had sales at $58. Obviously a big string of sales there. We even had a sale close to $70. Mixed in there, people buying play sets at $45 a piece. You see it kind of continuing to drop, down to there's sales at 15, 16, 20. Right now, lowest on the market is 20, but we got an update from on the Lorecast today of like pricing and things like that. And guess what? You're going to be getting an early check-in for both Milwaukee as well as the tournament in Italy next weekend. You're going to be getting the Ana Icebreaker promo. This is going to add thousands to the supply. And this is something very similar that happened with another promo card, which is a very sore subject to me, for me rather. I was looking at my my order history at TCG Player. I was going to take a screenshot, but it was taking too long to find. I just gave up on it. But my the Donald Duck from Into the Inklings is one, Scrooge McDuck from Into the Inklings is one that I paid like $80 for. Because at the time they only were released in Europe and we could not get them here in the States. And so I got sick of waiting. I waited months and I ended up just biting the bullet and paying like $80 for it. And then this one here, Scrooge McDuck, Uncle Moneybags. I paid like $80 for it because I waited months, guys. Like I do not FOMO into these things. Like I wait. And so I go ahead and buy it. I bite the bullet because there's just none coming out. And then months later, we got like it started being like a pre-release like promo for some of these events, or a pre-registration promo, and there was just like thousands out of nowhere that were on the market. And you can see now, probably a year and a half after I bought it, it's gone down 80% in price, right? And so this is just a testament of like an Ana Icebreaker is the same way that people are paying $60 for that. It's the exact same example. These cards continue to hit the market, and so I would always advise, if you're in the market for promos, which like I always am, these new cards like the Beast Gracious Prince from the Collector's Quest, as well as the Bell from the Collector's Quest, the Accomplished Mystic here, which this card's very relevant in the game. So it's got two things going for it as to why we don't want to add it to our collection. It's very relevant in the game, so its utility has increased its price. In addition, it's brand new, so we don't know on the
next collector's quest that happens? Are they going to have the same cards awarded? Are they going to mix it up? We don't know. Historically, we've seen that we've seen the same cards used time and time again. Think about the serialized Mickey, the top 8 prize card from the very first challenge event. Going into the very first challenge event in Europe and then the one here in Atlanta last year, we didn't know what the trophy cards were going to be, and they announced that it was going to be a serialized golden Mickey. And I was like going insane. I'm like, this is going to be like enormous for the game. This is going to be the secondary cost for this card is going to be absolutely astonishing. And then they released it. It was serialized out of 500. Like, that is a massive number to serialize a trophy card, right? And so you got to think, this card started in Atlanta, and then the first event in Europe, I can't remember what that one was. I think it was in Lille, if I'm not mistaken. That's going back a ways. And then it's still going to be given out like for years to come, right? So like them serializing that out of 500 just shows how much they really, like, probably don't like scarcity and rarity. So whenever we talk about some of these promo cards, whether it was the old Scrooge that burned me or the Anna Icebreaker that's going to burn a lot of people, maybe the Collection Quest promos, even the Cruise promo, guys, like I've had a lot of people ask me about these. I absolutely love the idea of these cards. I love this card, the unique bordering and everything with it's like linking up with the cruise lines. Like, it's fantastic. 10 out of 10 idea. Absolutely love it. I need to see how long they're going to run these cards for, right? And I've had a lot of people ask me, should I buy them? Should I pay this price? Should I get them? Are you waiting on them? It's like, guys, there's 2 on the market right now of this Donald ride, or there's none of the Mickeys. There's 5 of the Donalds, 13 of the Pirate Mickeys. With a year from now, these still might be getting given out on the cruise ships, guys. And so we just have to see if Ravensburger is going to change their tune in terms of handing promo cards out way later than what we thought. My biggest example of this, and one of the biggest gripes I've had as a collector, is these D20 or Gen Con 2023 Mickey Mouses, all 3 of the 3 Musketeers were being given out, I believe, and I've said it on video back when it was more recent, but I believe the North American Continental Championship that happened, these were still being given out, and that's like kind of 2 years after the event happened. It wasn't in large amounts. I think like Ryan and Steve were just giving them out in signings and stuff. But like 2 years after an event, this should never, in my opinion, as a collector, this should not be happening. They're an event-specific promo. That's one of the perks of going to the event. If someone went to that event because of this promo, it should not be given out after the fact. This card enticed them to go to that. And so you don't want to be giving it out 2 years later, because that burns everyone who went to the event to get this exclusive promo that you marketed and advertised, right? So I vehemently disagree with any sort of like event-specific promo being given out after the fact. I hope they see that and change. I believe they will. But cards like the initial like cruise, ship cards, like, there's no limited time. Like, they're running cruises every other week, right? So like, these could be given out once again for the next year, 2 years. We just have no clue, and there's nothing to stop them. Now, obviously, over time, you would hope that they switch it up. They get maybe they do whole new alt arts and different things like that. Obviously, they've seen the success that Fabled's had, and so I hope they're going to continue to dive more and more into the collector side of the hobby, which I would say they've given us every sign that they're definitely doing that. But, you would hope that after, maybe 6 months or after a year, they're pivoting to different designs, different characters, different, cruise promos, new Collector's Quest promos, so we just have to see what that's going to look like in the future. But for now, these are an absolute no-go for me as someone who loves promos. But this could go a different way very poorly for me, right, guys? Because I'm going to own these cards at some point, right? Let's just use the cruise promos as an example. Those cards will be in my possession. They will be graded in a PSA 10, and they will be in my display. At some point, that will be the case. Now, if they don't, maybe this is something that they were just trialing, and now that they see that it's been well received, they're going to run a new run of a new 6 or whatever and change it up. And 6 months from now, they're re-releasing the cruise promos, and it's a whole new set of promos. Well, at that point, then these cards are probably undervalued at what they're priced at today. But I'm going to sit on the sideline, and I'm going to take that gamble that they're going to continue to run these promos, and I'm not going to get caught up in the FOMO and going out and getting them. And that's not to say that I don't love them. I absolutely love them. I think they're awesome cards. But I'm not getting burned by the FOMO. I'm not going to hurry to buy these cards. We have so many other cards that we can go and get, guys. Like the Rapunzel Gifted with Healing from the first season of Disney Lorcana Challenge events. This card is from the side events. Now, there is a top placing prize card that's foil. Let's take a look at that one real quick. We haven't talked about it in a minute. For $4,000 for that little baby. But the normal version, the prize wall non-foil, it's the exact same art, it's just not foil, is currently available in a near mint copy for $98. This is a card, if you look year over year, oh, do we have it still filtered to, I don't know why let's refresh real quick. I think going to holo foil messed it up. Nope, it's not giving us any data. You're going to have to take my word for it. This card was up at $200 when it was relevant in the meta. We know that it's not going to be released again. We've already seen the promos for the next challenge event, which is Lee's. So we know that Rapunzel's not being reprinted. We know that Cinderella Stout-Hearted is not being reprinted. We know that the Let It Go is not being reprinted. We know that the Dragonfire is not being reprinted, wherever that one's at. I guess that's a little page 2 right here, down at $16. We know that those cards aren't going to be reprinted, guys. So these are the cards that I believe and that I will be taking action to go out and get. Some other notable, obviously you guys know I love the Set Champs cards. Those are never being reprinted. Any card that says Store Championship on it, 10 out of 10. Absolute steal. Absolute steal. Like, disgusting amount of value on those cards. But regardless, that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I forgot where I was going to go with that. Oh, but like the Cusco Temperamental Emperor, as well as the Baymax, just an awesome card. Armored Companion. These cards are additional like sidewall cards, or prize wall cards, side event cards is what I was looking for. They do have foil variants that are the top pricing. Let's see if Baymax has any. 15,000, not too bad. Go and get yourself a foil one. One of the rarest cards in all of Disney Lorcana. Very, very undervalued. One that I'm on the lookout for. Nevertheless, this card right now, $69 for a near mint copy for the non-foil version. The Cusco was down at, what was it, like 25 or something like that. And that, can I not go back, please? Let's see. I want to get the proper price on the Cusco. $23.69. It looks like. These cards were given away at the North American and European Continental Championships, and so the likelihood that these are continued to given out at the next round of championships is highly unlikely. We've already seen that for the DLC Season 2, they're switching the promos. Who's not? I would think that they're going to switch the promos as we get to the championship rounds. And then you go and look at some of these, Cusco's, Baymaxes, Invited to the Balls, etc. And these cards are probably in a very, very good spot to buy. So I would direct you more in the direction of some of these cards that have been out for a while. 4 Dozen Eggs, even some of your set release cards like the Aladdin, Intrepid Commander. Just, older, minter, scarce, or irrelevant with the promos, guys. Just emphasis on the older. Until we see where Ravensburger is willing to kind of short run some of these promos, which I don't think they're going to be fair. But until we see that, there's really no reason to FOMO into these cards. Whether it's the cruise promos, the Collector's Quest promos, we've got all sorts of really, really good promos now, which is fantastic. Even the ones for the characters assigned, like the Anna Braving the Storm. Let's see what continues to happen. Let's see what type of rollout they have, what type of life cycle they have in the actual Disney World, we'll call it, and then we'll go from there. But that's why I think we should definitely wait on those. So with that being said, that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I'd love to hear where you guys think, how long is it going to take for, let's just say, first chapter to get to $500 per box? What would be your guess? Do you think it's going to happen? Is there a chance this year? Do you think maybe some of you guys think it's not even going to happen next year, right? When would you say that would happen? I would feel confident putting a June 2026. I think there's it would take something catastrophic for it to not be there, in my opinion. And I that's being safe. I think there's a Q1, result where it's or a Q1 world where it's happening a lot sooner. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I appreciate you all. We'll be back with another video soon. Bye. Hey, if that video helped you out at all, I would greatly appreciate it if you went into the description of this video. I have an affiliate link for TCG Player. If you don't mind saving that as your home link on your favorites bar or on your bookmarks as your TCG Player link, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much and have a great day.